Hey Louisville, my name's Jason Mudd, and this is the 502 Leader Series podcast presented by itsmontez.com. In this episode, I was really blessed to be able to sit down with Gabrielle Kueber. She wears so many hats. I came across her because she was posting on social media about throwing glitter around. And I thought, how crazy is that? But it caught my attention, and it made me look at her and look at what she was doing, and a lot of what she was doing centered around positivity, and it centered around throwing out a good message, and it centered around lifting people up and building up others, and that's a great emphasis that we wanted to have here with Yes Brands and YesLouisville.com. So I reached out to her, and we decided to sit down and have a chat, and it's really cool the things that Bella and her husband Rick are doing. They have several businesses that are going on. Most recently, they've started a chain of fast-made pizzas, a la Blaze, I guess it would be the popular one, but it's called Topped Pizza and handmade salads, and it's fantastic. And Bella talks about how she uses positivity and hope and love and kindness to live a better life and to make the people around her a little bit better. And I think that that's something that is fantastic with everybody. So it's an easy listen, but it's about 30 minutes. Take some time, sit back, have a coffee. I hope you enjoy this chat. I hope that there's some things that you can put into your own life. Thanks. Hey, my name's Jason Mudd, and this is the 502 Leader Series. We are sitting outside at Sapphire Coffee Shop on a beautiful day with Bella Portaro Kueber.
Yes.
And hello, Bella.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for asking me.
Bella is a blogger. She is a social media maven. She does marketing with several different firms, and she's a writer. She's a journalist. I think that's how I would describe you. Bella, what do you do?
On any given day, I can jump from different personalities to different things I'm doing. I think that marketing, you take on different voices. So every single day, I would say that I'm just exploring different ways to connect with people.
Nice. So you've just been brought back into the fold at Today's Woman magazine. Mm-hmm. So what's your role there?
I will do the same sort of writing that I write for on my blog, which is just highlighting women in the city and finding ways that they inspire all of us to grow and change.
Nice. So what's your inspiration?
Life itself. No, I can grab inspiration from anything. I was, as we're sitting here talking and the leaves are on the ground and the sun is shining bright. And of course, we were just talking about wearing inspirational words and, what that does for you. I think that we can find inspiration from any place. It's just turning your mind to that point of looking at things positively rather than negatively.
That's a big point. There's so much negative in the world. We're living in such a weird time. There's such an uncertainty that we have to be intentional about being positive.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that having positive outlets, that's something that made me want to reach out to you. You have your blog, Bella of Louisville, mm-hmm. and you have a lot of positive posts. What made you want to start a blog in the first place? I think the blogging is something that a lot of people want to do. I think a lot of people like the idea of it, mm-hmm. But people don't know where to start. So
for sure.
What made you want to start?
I started my first blog, I think it was in 2011, maybe 2012, and it was called Lou Bella Vita. And the theme of that, I had just gotten into volunteering with a lot of different companies and nonprofit organizations, and there wasn't a whole lot of things that were highlighting it digitally. At that time you had In Focus, I think Underwired, publication had just left Louisville, and so there was just different key elements that I thought were missing from Louisville that I wanted to bring into the scene on a digital scale, and then I had let that fall apart after I kind of started overworking myself with social media things instead. And then I came back to it, I think, in 2013, maybe, and that's when I came out with Bella of Louisville. And it was kind of a pun, obviously, on the steamboat of the city.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Right. Are you from Louisville?
I am. Well, I was born in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, but my family moved here whenever I was 2. So,
Okay.
basically,
Nice.
I claim Louisville.
Nice. What? How do you define success?
Ooh, that's a really good question. My husband and I talk about this quite often. I think success it means something to every other person. It's never going to be the exact same thing to anyone. I'd read a quote, and it's, if you help a life breathe easier, then that's to know that you succeeded. And I think that is one of the most powerful things, because like you and I just said, that we're living in weird times. I think a smile can uplift somebody's day and totally change it. I'd reached out to a local artist that was doing murals recently, and I just spoke to him about how putting that art into the city and how other things can change other people's lives. And whether or not artists get recognized a lot, I think that means that it's success. I mean, he can look at his work and see that it impacts other people, which is successful to me.
Mm-hmm. The impact, being intentional and having that outward impact, I think is something that we need more of, and having positive influences to do that is we need it. We need it in society now more than ever. Who are some people that have maybe mentored you or kind of put you on this path as you've grown?
There's my number one mentor always is Tanya York-Dees. I started volunteering for the Julep Ball with her, I think, in 2011. And I've stayed with her through different changes and different events. Idea Festival was one of my favorite events that she brought me into, and it's one I live for every single week, or I should say year in the city. Louisville's known for Derby, but I think that having a festival of thinkers in our city all at one time is one of the biggest things that she'll ever push into my life. So yeah,
the Idea Fest is really a great thing, and having that creative thought process. TED Talks are so big, and that's kind of a niche thing that's gaining popularity right now. But to have something like that, that just happened last month.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. It's always it kicks off on the last Wednesday of every September. So.
Nice. What do you read? Are you a reader? You're a writer.
I'm a writer. I'm a reader. I can't make myself focus long enough to read a lot of science fiction, but I have so many self-help books that it's mildly nauseating.
Is there any book that you recommend that you gift to people, maybe?
I haven't gifted it a lot, but I do pull a lot of things from this author specifically. It's Gabrielle Bernstein.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote Spirit Junkie, Miracles Now, I think. I want to say that. I'm probably wrong on that one, though, actually. And then her newest one is The Universe Has Your Back. I found her, I think, in 2012 at the same time, and just started reading her stuff and following her podcasts. And I have her app on my phone, so it goes off twice a day. I have it going at 11:11 in the morning and 11:11 at night. And so it's just this way to, again, bring positive affirmations back into your life. So I dig what she does. It's really good stuff.
Nice. Talking about apps, and you've got several businesses that you run. How do you stay organized? It's always we live in there's so many tools that are at our disposal.
Yeah.
So many apps, so many programs. It's always interesting to see. What do you use?
I really like.
You have an iPhone.
I do.
Let's say that.
Yes,
yeah.
I do have an iPhone. So I actually am on my phone. I think sometimes marketing is more effective from phones than it is laptops at moments, just for the social media scene, because you really can't do a lot with Instagram or Snapchat on iPhones or iPods or anything else. So I think that I like Sprout Social the most, and I like it also for the demographics and for the studies it can give you. It's really similar to like a Hootsuite. But, there's some stuff that I don't think you can schedule out as content. I mean, like, you can always build a content calendar, which is what I try to do every month for my clients and for a company I own and different things, and even my personal brand. You can only schedule it so much, but then life happens, and then you have to take that, like, whatever your schedule is sometimes, and just be like, no, that's not what we need, because you have to pay attention to society. Marketing isn't always just like, look at this, it's a deal, it's a bonus. And I think that where a lot of companies fall off is not actually connecting with people to make themselves appeal and grow relationships with their clients, rather than this is a sale. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, social marketing is not, it's not about selling, it's about telling a story.
Correct.
It's about connecting and building a relationship, and that's the whole premise of it. And when a brand does that right, that's when you see not just sales go up, but you see the value added goes with everybody.
Correct.
So that works really, really well. Talk about your personal brand. Everybody is a personal brand. Everybody
Correct.
is a media company now.
Yes.
How does that fit into life, and how do you see that going forward? Do you have kids?
I do.
How does this play in with kids?
It's a little intense, I think, on Kid Week. So my husband and I have shared custody every other week, and it's a little difficult's not the right word to use, but I want to be present with them. So I think that sometimes social media has to take that back burner. And I think it's really hard for everybody in our society to be like, okay, I don't need to be on. I don't need to be connecting with everyone right now, because you need to connect with the person that's right in front of you instead. That's a really hard work balance, especially, for social media managers or anybody in digital, I think, because it's all happening in real time. And so you want to be a part of it, but then you have to be able to pull yourself back and live in the moment. So sometimes the work balance is not great, especially with my personal brand. I'll let that one go before I would let anything else go. So that's where it suffers, I think.
Well, the other side of it is that, the personal brand is there whether you want it or not.
Yes.
And what you put out on social media, I think that something that's lost on a lot of people is the fact that when you put it out there, it's out there. And you can't take it back. So
it's there forever.
So it's there forever. And that's something to really take to heart, especially raising kids in the digital era. I've got a 4-year-old, and I think your kids are a little bit older.
Correct.
But raising kids that don't know any different, that don't know what it was like before Facebook, that's going to be interesting to see going forward.
It is. I think that it's like you can mildly see it now where, I think this has been the first time, I think, in any part of society where people are talking about how, like, some people are introverts and, they don't talk and all these different things. But then I think that sometimes the digital communications are taking away from how to actually look somebody in the eye and shake their hand and talk to them and, connect, rather than just be like, I like your stuff and that's me connecting. It's actually like, no, let's really connect. It's interesting, but I think that more millennials are starting to see it, especially if they're young professionals, I think, because you have to be able to put yourself out there in person rather than just online.
That's actually very interesting. Talking about how social media kind of makes you antisocial to a degree, but I think that there's a lot of good conversations that have come about with regards to mindfulness and self-awareness, and there's a lot of cultural changes that are being much more accepting. 10 years ago, if you walked up to somebody and said, I meditate in the morning, people would look at you cross-eyed and
they'd
think,
be like, you do what?
You do what? And now it's becoming, it's proven scientifically that it works and that it helps you. Do you do anything to help balance your life like that?
I do. Meditation, I think it's best when I heard somebody say, like, whatever time you think you should be meditating, like, double it. I think that I try at least every day to have, like, a moment to myself, whether it's just, like, sitting there breathing and actually focusing and connecting. But sometimes I think that it is difficult to have that mind-body connection where you're just turning everything off. And so it can come down to just, like, having a moment and breathing and, like, thinking about, so on that, when my phone goes off at 11:11, it's affirmations each day. And so that's what I kind of take as my meditation, whether it's like a solid minute or if I can fit in different ways to meditate, then I will. There is an app, I would have to look at my phone to tell you what it is, but it'll connect you with everybody else that's meditating at the same time. So when you end it, then you can see that you're meditating with like 2,000 people or something else, and it's worldwide. It's called Insights Timer, I think.
We'll put that in the show notes because I'd actually like to check that out. I use Headspace.
Did you? Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of people do, but I like that idea of being able to, you know that other people are doing it at the same time, because there is a connection with everybody.
Oh,
you know,
for sure.
Everything's connected. You know, we look at how things work, and we don't know how any of this stuff works. I mean, we really don't. As much as we think we do. But that's really neat. What time do you wake up in the morning?
It varies. I am a night owl by great default. I hate it. I wish I was a morning person. I look at morning people and I envy them every day. But I have gotten a lot better on kid weeks. It's anywhere from 6:45 to 8. But I mean, like, I want to be up to see them go out the door, so that means I have to be awake and be present. And on non-kid weeks, it would be nice to say I sleep till 9, but it's always usually 8:30, and then like I get going. But then, I mean, I think that people also don't realize. So then, most people are on social media at nighttime in the evening, like after their kids are in bed. Typically, that's like when you get the most hits on anything, and it's a good time. I mean, like making that kind of your schedule as a social media manager, it's good, but then it has its faults. So because then you are up later.
Right.
And I sometimes write my best things at nighttime.
What does the first 60 minutes of your day look like?
Usually, I'll get up and I check the social media pages that I manage and just make sure everything's, copacetic and nobody's angry with any brand or anything like that I manage, because people can be things, especially when you work in customer service. I usually check that. I always have a cup of coffee. My husband is really sweet and always makes me want to leave it like right next to me. So like when I wake up, it's just there, which is nice. Sometimes it's really cold.
Yeah.
But it's still like, it's just that it's there, and I think it's really sweet. So it's usually just like coffee and kicking myself into gear. On days I sleep in later, then that means, and I always try to fit in yoga in the beginning of my day, because then it's easier to make better decisions. And at nighttime, then I'm like, no, I'm tired, I'm not going to do that. So I try to do it pretty early in my day. If I do it at all, then it happens first thing rather than later.
Well, making that stuff a priority, everybody always has this deal where I'm going to do it, I'm going to find time to do it. And that whole adage of finding time is such a false, because you don't ever find time.
No.
You have to make time. And people make time for what's important.
Correct.
And so when you make health, fitness, whatever, you fit it into your schedule.
100%.
So
yeah.
That's good.
Sadly, sometimes I think it takes like having, a bad thing happen, like your health like suddenly is not doing great, and then you're paying attention. But I think people are getting, like you said, getting better at it.
Right. What is something that you struggle with?
Well, we kind of talked about it briefly, like right before we turned the mic on. I think that it's what other people think, which is like the stupidest thing on earth, because it's truly at the end of the day, like in 20 years, will their opinion matter? No.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
But it's just still this like acceptance. And I think that, so before I changed over to journalism, I was a psych major. And so I like knowing what makes people tick. And as a marketer, I want to know how I'm impacting people or how people receive it. And it kind of speaks to that's where I sometimes put success, because then I'm like, they like that brand, great. Do you know what I mean? So it's like there's just this, but then if they don't like it, I'm like, why don't they like it? What's happening? Like, and then you have to, backpedal and then be like, well, society's doing this or different things. Do you know what I mean? So it's just trying to find that space of acceptance, whether it's my work or my personal life.
That's what other people think is the biggest downfall for everybody. Everybody struggles with that, and everybody thinks that nobody else deals with it. It's one of those funny things with people.
Oh, for sure.
It's interesting how that works out. what is some advice that you would give, looking back at how things have gone, how your life progresses? Everybody grows, everybody evolves.
Mm-hmm.
What is some advice that you would give to your 20-year-old self?
Oh, I would shake her. No, I'm kidding. I would tell myself to love and accept myself a little bit more. As you know, we just talked about acceptance, but I think that everything's always hindsight 2020. We all have to make these mistakes, and we all have to do all of these different things to get to where we are today. Sometimes it's not a really pretty path, and sometimes it'll take you down a really dark alley, but you have to be able to see that everything's temporary, like whether it's really like kittens and sunshine or it's like a nightmare. I think that life, if you don't like what's happening right this second, just wait a minute, because it's going to change.
Interesting. Timing is
it really is.
Timing
and it's
is
just
everything.
Trusting. Nobody wants to be like, oh, I'm going to wait or whatever. I think a lot of females that I'm even friends with, when you're in your 20s, I feel like you have to be like, I want to get married, I want to do all these things, I want to, and it's just like, then when you hit your 30s, it's like, okay, it all happened. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so you're like, okay, then it's fine. I think that just adjusting, if I could go back and make myself be a little bit more relaxed about the process, then it would have been a lot better for anxiety things. But
for that you said the process, and for me, I'm 34, and when I hit my 30s, I started realizing that the process is really that's all that matters is the process. The goals, the ends, none of that matters, because when you get to the end of something, when you reach a goal, when you finish something, what do? You go on. You go on, and
like
you,
you're
you
like,
do
and you have
something
a new
else.
goal that you want to hit.
Yeah. So embracing the process and really getting in and loving that's where life is. That's where life happens.
For sure.
And that's something that everybody, I think, needs to remember, because we get so caught up. Life. What's that Ferris Bueller quote?
Don't take life too seriously. Nobody's gonna get out alive.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that quote.
Exactly.
It's one of my favorites.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Here's a fun question that everybody kind of struggles with a little bit. What's a recent purchase of $100 or less that has most positively affected your life?
$20 or $100 or less. I am a deal seeker. I'm like, everybody's like, I love your boots, or I love XYZ, and it costs that much. And I'm like, I love bragging and being like, it only is $20. Probably, I just purchased, which hopefully some of my friends won't listen. I bought a bunch of planners for my friends, and collectively they're all under $100 for 2017. And I'm going to go in and just make little dates that I know will impact them. So I have a couple of foodie friends and different blogger friends, so I'll put little dates in there to highlight what they do, and then I'm going to give that to them. So that's my Christmas present to some of them if they don't listen.
I love that. Something that I remember seeing on your social media for a long time, you had this thing where throwing glitter and building people up.
I still do.
And how awesome is that?
Thanks. Yeah.
It's rare.
No, it really is.
Unfortunately, it's rare.
I know.
It's so easy to bring people down. It's so easy to be negative. How do you stay positive?
Oh gosh, I think it's an everyday thing. I think everybody has to work at it. Everybody, I think they look at everything I post, and because it's positive, then they're either really intrigued by it, or they think it's fake or different things. And
but it's a choice, right?
It is a choice. Every single day, you have to choose it. I mean, you have to choose to be happy and positive.
Because it's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. It's, again, with the process, you just have to accept it and be like, this day is awful. But at the end of the day, is it going to be like that tomorrow? If you let it, you know what I mean? You can turn it over, and actually you can do it at the middle of the day and just be like, I'm not going to let this steal my joy. That's what one of my friends says to me all the time. Allison with Eat, Love, Louisville.
Eat, Love, Louisville, yeah.
She actually called me this morning and was like, we were just talking about something else, and she was like, do not let people steal your joy. And I'm like, it's just truly that's a little thing that I'm like, it's not people necessarily, but it's sometimes just life. Don't let it take you down. I mean, it's going to, and you're going to have hard knocks, and it's not perfect, ever. no matter what. And even if we post about it being like, a positive life, it doesn't mean that like you're not going through horrible things. You can go through anything, but as long as you have a positive mindset about it, then it's a lesson.
That's an interesting point. People talk about social media as being the highlight reel of people's lives. And that's true to a degree, but at the same time, if you choose to be happy all the time, and it's one of those things, you find what you're looking for. If you think that everything's going to be negative and everything's going to be crap and it's going to be a bad day, and that's what you're going to get. And
for sure.
And I think that a lot of people don't really realize that you get what you put out.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Karma is kind of a real thing.
It really is.
In a lot of ways.
It is.
Not to sound like, crazy or anything.
It's again with the meditating.
Yeah, right.
But no, I get it. Like, I think that it is. I think, and it goes like, then that, like, what that means goes into, like, your vibe attracts your tribe. And, like, all these other things that have all spun out of this one saying. And it is. It's, garbage in, garbage out. You have to take positive things and let it manifest and like put it back out into the universe, and that's what you're asking to come in.
Somebody's
just like that noise.
Yeah, exactly. I heard a quote a while back that I think about every day. I think the secret to life is in the cliche. Yeah. And if you think about the cliched sayings and all the hokey things that I grew up thinking that's stupid. That's dumb, two birds in the hand and all that, the crap. But it's true.
It is true.
All these stereotypes are true. Cliches are true.
Yeah.
And if you think positive thoughts, you're going to be happy. If you do good things are going to happen to you.
Yes.
And, gosh, it's so simple.
It really is.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. We complicate things as people so much more than what we have to do.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So, you've started a restaurant pretty recently. Tell me about that.
My husband and I started a restaurant called Topped. It's handcrafted pizzas and chopped salads. It's actually a really simple concept. We would go to Blaze or go to Biology and all these other places, and you would look at this pizza, and that's all that you can have. While all of this was happening, we were actually like planning a wedding and trying to eat healthier and like doing all these different things. And I do have Crohn's colitis, and so it's just like I try to eat better when I can, and sometimes that does not include lettuce at all, but it's just having these different options that are available for other people. And he likes salads, and actually our salads are just as good as our pizza. But it's the same thing even with like a Qdoba. It's fast casual service where you go in and you go down the make line with people and eat it as soon as it, if it's a salad, it's going to come a lot faster. But it's
awesome.
136 seconds, I think, of just in the oven, and it comes right out, and then you eat.
Really? And where is Topped?
We started one in Elizabethtown. He's coincidentally actually from there as well. And then we started the second one in New Albany.
And that's where can people find out about Topped?
On social media, we are Topped Pizza, and online it's toppedpizza.com.
Okay, neat. I'll have to check that out.
Thanks. Yeah, I need to get you over there.
It's a neat concept. How can people connect with you online?
I'm on Instagram as Bella of Louisville. My website is bellaoflouisville.com. On Facebook, the same. And then I can't give up my name on Twitter, so it's just Bella Portaro. I won't give it up. I don't know why. I'm like, I cannot change it, and I don't know what my problem is. But I do have a blog page on there, but I'm not as active with it. That's again with the personal brand. I'm like, I can only post on so many different things for myself every day. But Twitter is actually one of my favorites because you can get on there, and I love looking at what's trending for that day, and like you can just jump on, and it's either, I usually like the funny ones, like it was something like how to make a scary movie less scary, and like a title. And so like I think I took something about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I made it the Texas Chainsaw like convention, and I did like what you'll find on Pinterest, and like because then there's these people like carving, and it always ends up on Pinterest. But I think that it's fun, and it allows you to have this like goofy space in your life when we always have to be so serious.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah.
Being so involved in social media, are you into Snapchat? What's your
I am.
Snapchat game like?
It's not as strong. I do have some, like, again, with the foodie friends, like they're hardcore on their Snapchats. I usually get on there, and I love the bee filter, and it was my favorite
The
because it's
bee
just
filter
so funny.
was so. My daughter loves the bee filter.
Isn't it great? I'm like, every time they bring it back, I'm
And
like,
the
"Thank
voice,
you,
the
Snapchat."
voice, it's
Oh, yes.
so cool.
Yeah, no, and I think it happened with my husband because I think sometimes he probably just laughs because he thinks I'm goofy. But I had him get on with me, and like, so forever I would have him talk, and then I would just say yes, following it, and it kind of became, it's like when it comes back, I'm like, that is my favorite thing, is just to say yes with it, and I don't know why. So I guess with the Yes Louisville theme, it goes right hand in hand. But I think Snapchat's another place where you just get to, like, be goofy and let your guard down and, like, put a filter on that just has nothing to do with really anything in your life, but it's fun, and it's like the process that's happening, so enjoy it.
That's right. Snapchat is interesting because it's real time.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening right now, and then it goes away, and so you don't have to be worried about being dumb. Because we're all silly, we're all stupid.
Yes, we
we're
are.
not stupid.
No, I know what you're saying, but like goofy and
Yeah, right. All right, very cool.
yes.
Well, it's been super cool sitting down and talking to you today. I'm really excited to have you on as a part of the Yes Louisville team.
Yes, me too. It's very exciting.
And so it's going to be really fun to have some articles coming out for you. Anything else you want to tell anybody?
No. I guess go back to the process of everything in the day. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and you never know. I mean, you could connect with one person or a multitude of people. I think sometimes people will look at my stuff or even Yes Louisville stuff because it is positive. Doesn't mean everything's perfect, but I think that if you always look for the best in society, it'll give it to you back.
You find what you look for.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks,
Yes.
Bella.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to the 502 Leader Series podcast. I hope you have enjoyed this, and I hope that there's some little takeaways that you can put into practice in your own life that might make things a little bit better for you and the people around you. Leadership starts with you. It starts at home. And the more we invest in ourselves, the more we are able to invest in others around us and the community that we live in. It takes putting effort into yourself to be able to do this. So if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our list, itsmontez.com/subscribe. I'd love to get you on the weekly list and keep up to date with all the cool stuff that we're doing. And we've got a new website that's just rolled out. I hope you've checked that out. But thank you for listening, and have a great day, everyone.